In today's video, we're going to talk about my top 5 forgiving drivers of 2024. Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson. Welcome back to this YouTube channel. Now, 2024 has been a stellar year for driver releases. We've seen some groundbreaking technology, we've seen some fantastic marketing, and we've also seen some really good drivers to help you guys get better at golf. So in at number 5, it's a driver which isn't under this head cover, so bear with me 1 second. But in at number 5 is the Cobra Dark Speed driver. Now, we tested this out in Dubai right at the start of the year, or right at the end of last year actually, and absolutely loved it. The Dark Speed driver does feature a lovely looking carbon crown, and you can't really tell how much technology is in this, but let me tell you, it is jam-packed full of it. So this is the standard Dark Speed driver. There is a more forgiving version than this, but I think this is that nice middle ground that so many people do want. You can see we've got movable weights in here, so I can have it high or low center of gravity. I can put it in neutral, and I also have that power shell to help with ball speed on off center hits. And together with that power shell technology, yes, we have that movable loft sleeve. So as you can see there, we can go from 9 right up to 12 degrees. That can change lie angle as well. So for me, that's ideal if you're thinking about changing your ball flight just a little bit and tinkering with it. 3 gram weight and the 12 gram weight, as I mentioned, can be moved forwards and backwards. And we also have that carbon sole. So you can see that mass is really important here, and where it's distributed can help massively. And we also have that HOT face, which once again is designed to help you generate more ball speed on those off-center hits. And the big thing that I really like about this is the shape. So it's almost like really elongated towards the back. And again, I think that's really helping a lot of golfers just think, you know what, I've got lots of surface area here, I've got lots of room behind it, and I know that I'm going to get that forgiveness element in the shot. So let's have a go with it and let's see just how it goes. Feel and sound wise, I don't think it's the best sounding driver of the year, but then that's why it's in at number 5. But if you hit drives like that with it all season, you would not be disappointed in the Cobra Dark Speed driver. That's down there middle of the fairway, isn't it? I always think after I've done these top 5 videos, could I have a rejig and potentially kind of put them in different, but I've tested all these drivers to the nth degree, and Cobra is number 5. So I know what you're all thinking. If the Cobra is in at number 5 of the top 5 forgiving drivers, this must be an incredibly hot top 4. And if you're thinking that, the Callaway AI Smoke Paradigm driver is in at number 4. So top 3 must be spectacular. But the Callaway for me is a fantastic driver. I think it's one of the most adjustable drivers that you can get with that adjustable hosel. And I really like how we can have that kind of perimeter weighting as well. So we can move that into a fade setting or into a draw setting. Now this is the AI Paradigm Smoke Max driver. You can see it's full of that forged carbon on bottom, but also the triaxial carbon on top. And I'm a huge fan of that. To me, that is the best looking crown in golf. I think it's absolutely spectacular. The one thing I don't like is the branding there. Like, that's very, very small, and it's something which a lot of people, yeah, like, we don't need that, and we don't need the little chevron either. That's one thing which I don't like about the mini driver either. The mini driver, if it didn't have the chevron on it, it looked more like the triple diamond. I think that would be spectacular. But we also have that AI smart face, and this actually for me works very, very well. So Callaway claim that it offers multiple sweet spots, so no matter where you hit it on the face, you generally do start to get more forgiveness. And what I'll say about that is I've used the triple diamond quite a lot, and Chris has used the triple diamond quite a lot as well. And one thing we do see is if you hit one out of the toe or you hit one out of the heel, generally your launch conditions do stay very, very similar. You still hit good drives. The amount of times we've hit drivers with the Callaway AI Paradigm Smoke, or the AI Smoke Paradigm, or the Paradigm AI Smoke, and you hit a bad one, but you're up there with your friends who've hit their country best, I think that's why you pay the money for this. I think that's why generally you do want it in that top 5 forgiving drivers. Let's see if we can knock it past the Cobra that we've just hit, which was at number 5. Remember guys, this is my personal opinion as well, so if yours does differ, you may have a driver that should be in the top 5 that I haven't mentioned. I'm sure a lot of you will, so make sure you do get in the comments and let me know. But head shape and style for this, I'm a big fan. As you can see, nice high launching, again, straight down the middle of that fairway, very similar to the Cobra that we've just hit. And that for me is the name of the game when it comes to these drivers. We're talking about ease of launch, we're talking about hitting fairways, we're talking about trying to make golf that a little bit easier for you, shot after shot. So that's in at number 4. This is going to be one hell of a top 3, isn't it? In at number 3 is a club which could well be the most forgiving driver of 2024 in the right hands. It's of course the Ping G430 10K Max driver. Now that sounds like a bit of a mouthful, and I personally think it is a bit of a mouthful of a name. I don't know why, to be honest, Ping didn't kind of deviate away from the G430 range with this driver. I think it's a spectacular driver. The fact that tour pros can use this as well as high handicap beginner golfers and everyone can get a benefit from it speaks volumes about the club. So you can see we have the adjustable hosel on there that can go up or down a degree, and you can actually change face angle a little bit with that as well. But what I really like about it is how we have the carbon fly wrap, which works right from the bottom all the way onto the top of the club there. I despise these turbulators, but I've never been a fan of turbulators ever, to be honest. And we have this huge weight at the back of the club which isn't movable. So in the past, Ping have had movable weighted drivers, so you can fit yourself right into where you want it. But with the 10K, they're saying no, this is the most forgiving driver money can buy. And it's very funny, isn't it, because there's a certain other driver that might well be in this top 5 that again has the kind of 10K name, the 10,000 inertia. Before this year, I don't think anybody had a clue what 10,000 meant when it came to inertia. I still don't, to be honest, but obviously the brands are using it for marketing terms. So I'm a huge fan of how this driver looks. I actually really like they've managed to get the carbon fly wrap on there, because on the standard Ping G430 driver, we didn't have that carbon wrap on top. We had the standard crown. On the LS Tech, the low spin version, which I'm a huge fan of, we had that carbon fly wrap. So 3 very different drivers from Ping this year. And again, I don't really know why this one didn't just come out with the others, because I feel like if you would have bought the standard driver and then the 10K came out, you're like, well, I'm a huge Ping fan, but I really wish it would have come out in uniform with the other drivers, which brands seem to be doing now. And I don't know if they're just hanging back on products until they're perfect, or if they're just going, you know what, we're going to kind of wait, sell these, then sell them, and we're going to make loads more money. But what kind of shot can we play with this? I think looks-wise on top, it certainly is a pleasing driver to look at. I'm not a fan of the turbulators, but some people may well be. Apparently they are to help with aerodynamics, but how much of that's true, I really don't know. That's the best drive we've hit so far. That was actually a little bit out the toe, and that's turning nicely around the corner. That's one of the things which I do like about this driver, and I actually quite like the feel and sound of it as well. The standard G430 driver, I hate the sound of it. It doesn't sound very nice at all, but as soon as we get that carbon fly wrap on, it starts to feel and sound just that little bit nicer. So that is in at number 3. Guys, the top 2, there's going to be a bit of a tussle. Comment below, what do you think the top 2 is of my top 5 forgiving drivers of 2024? Okay, so number 2, it comes in the white head cover. It's got the blue face. It is, of course, the Tailor Made QI10 Max driver. Now, I quite like this driver. I was a fan of the Stealth 2. I was a fan of the original Stealth. Yeah, I was wondering what it was called then. I was a fan of the Stealth 2. I was a fan of the original carbon face Stealth, and I think it's amazing that Tailor Made can make this carbon face driver feel and sound as good as it looks. Because who remembers the old Callaway C4 driver, the original carbon driver? That sounded horrendous, it looked terrible, and it didn't feel much better either. Whereas with the QI10 Max, you can see we have a huge amount of weight in the back here. We have that inertia generator as well, just to allow you to generate a little bit more club head speed. We have the through slot speed pocket here, and we also have twist face, even though it's not on the face anymore. They don't feel the need to do that. The reason why I like this so much is because they've titivated it to a point where it looks gorgeous. So we have that infinity crown on here now. That is a full carbon crown, but we don't have that multi-material composite which Tailor Made used to do, which I personally feel looked, I don't know, we kind of got used to it, but I never really understood it. Whereas now that full carbon crown looks absolutely delightful, as you can see. We also have that laser etching on the top, so you can differentiate the face there. I really like the My Tailor Made ones of these. We saw them out in PGA Tour Superstore in the States, and they were all kind of blacked out, or even went back to the red face on the QI10, which I don't know why anyone would do, because it looks more like a Stealth when you've paid the money for the QI10. But you can see a very, very odd shaped driver, but this is supposed to be the best driver on the market when it comes to inertia, when it comes to forgiveness. That's why it is the Quest for 10K inertia, or the Quest for Inertia 10K. Let's see what we can hit down here. There's another driver coming, guys, which hasn't actually marketed themselves as a 10K inertia driver, but if it's fitted in the right specs, it could be. There's a little clue for you for what's at number 1. But I'm a huge fan of Tailor Made this year. I think they've done fantastic things. Not personally a fan of the blue face, I prefer the red, but when it comes to football teams and things, you can never really win, can you? Oh wow. That's frightening, isn't it?
Beautiful ball flight.
Often when I do these tests, like I said, reviewed these drivers, I've gone through all the tech in them, I've done everything kind of sporadically throughout the year, then you hit one shot and you're like, you know what? That makes golf so much easier. But guys, that's at number 2 of my top 5 forgiving drivers. What's at number 1, you ask? Well, there's no more cuts to it, Chris, is there? It's underneath the James Robinson head cover, and it's underneath the James Robinson head cover for a reason. Because I've had this in the bag for quite some time. I got fitted into the brand new PXG 0311 Black Ops driver, and I love it. So this thing could be a 10k driver, but it's not, because this is fitted to my specs. But if you got fitted with the heavier weights at the back here, and if you had the optimum loft, then generally this could also be a 10k inertia driver. The fact that it is so customizable when it comes to fittings, I think really shows what PXG are about, and I absolutely love the feel and sound of this thing. And I think PXG are just smashing it as a brand, to be honest. I think the fairway woods are outstanding, the Black Ops hybrid is gorgeous, and of course the 0317 irons are remarkable as well. So massive hat off. I haven't had a haircut since we've been back from America, so I'll not take my hat off, but massive hat off to PXG for that. You can see we have that carbon crown. It actually is a multi-material design, so very similar to what Tailor Made used to have, and we also have a little bit of what looks like an inertia generator there with carbon on the bottom as well. So feel and sound wise, this is absolutely the best driver of the year for me. I think I've tested that many drivers that have been fitted in my specs, but to put one in the bag means a lot to me, because I get to test a lot of drivers, and sometimes you just kind of would put things in because you're a magpie. I put this in because I really enjoy it. I know lots of others who've tested it enjoyed it as well, and the reason why it's at number 1 is because I don't think a lot of people would try it, and I think you potentially should, especially in your specs, and that's exactly why. Guys, that is my top 5 forgiving drivers of 2024. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you do hit that subscribe button below, and I'll see you all at exactly the same time tomorrow for another video.